Welcome to this edition of Kingsport's Most Wanted. I'm Deputy Chief David Quillen of the Kingsport Police Department. Thank you for tuning in. Last time we were on, we asked for your help and you responded. The police department received several phone calls about the individuals that we had featured, and we hope we can do that again with this episode. But before we feature those individuals, what we want to do is feature one of our unsolved homicides from years ago.
Today's unsolved comes from 20 years ago, July the 23rd, 1988. In this parking lot behind me, it used to be a Phillips 66 station. Next to the station were several old junk cars, abandoned and left out in the weather. Local street people used these cars to sleep in and to drink in. On July 23rd, about 7:05 in the morning, police discovered the body of Sally Jean Edwards. Her full name was Norma Jean. They called her Sally. Miss Edwards was a slight woman. She was about 5'4", 130 pounds, only 38 years old, but she lived on the street most of her life. She was found in the front seat of a 1947 Kaiser. This vehicle had been left here. Both doors had been opened, and Miss Edwards had been bludgeoned to death on the front seat of that car. Immediately, police were called. We checked the neighborhood. We checked with anyone she associated with. And at that time, on down Dale Street at 925, several street people lived in this one house. Miss Edwards had been down there earlier, and she'd come down here to this point in this vehicle early in the morning, supposedly to meet her boyfriend who was getting out of jail. We've spent a lot of time investigating her boyfriend, James Gooden, and right now he's no longer on the top of our suspect list. The vehicle, the 1947 Kaiser, would have been about in this location here. Surrounded this whole parking lot would have been full of cars. The house that I was describing is about 2 blocks to my right down the street, down Dale Street. Across the street here is Krispy Kreme. Miss Edwards suffered from several skull fractures. She was struck many times in the head. We believe that she was in the front seat of the vehicle when the attack started, and whoever attacked her was in the back seat. This is evident by markings on the roof fabric of the vehicle and also the driver's door trim. This subject actually got out of the vehicle, came around to the driver's side, opened the door, and actually struck Miss Edwards more times. She was dead at the scene. She had a very high alcohol content, so either she had been drinking all night or she was drinking here with the suspect. This alley runs behind 2 blocks of Dale Street, and it leads from Center Street at the point where the service station parking lot is, all the way over toward Wilcox Drive. This may have been the alley that Miss Edwards or the suspect took the morning of July 23rd, 1988. Anyone who has any information, if you call us at dispatch, 246-9111, or at CID, just 229-9429, and you can remain anonymous if you call those numbers after hours. Thank you.
This week we want to feature 4 individuals that are wanted by the Kingsport Police Department. I want to talk about the first 3 to begin with. In the latter part of 2007, as a result of numerous complaints to the police department that had been received from members of the community, been received from our own law enforcement officers here in Kingsport, the Vice and Narcotics Division began an undercover operation. in the Borden Mill area and also the Highland area of Kingsport. As a result of those undercover operations, there were 16 people that were identified, and subsequently arrest warrants were issued for those individuals. At this time, we have been able to locate 13 of the 16. There are still 3 out there that we need your help in locating. The first individual is Tammy Smith. She is a white female, 5'4", 178 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her date of birth is 5/9/1967. She is charged with the sale of illegal narcotics and the delivery of illegal narcotics. She's also charged with maintaining a dwelling where controlled substances are used and sold. Second individual, Ricky Johnson Jr. He's described as a white male, 5'9", 142 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. His date of birth is 10/27/1967. He is charged with the sale of illegal narcotics and the delivery of illegal narcotics. The third individual is Scott M. Taylor. He's described as a white male, 5'9", 170 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, date of birth 11/20/1969. Mr. Taylor is charged with the sale of over half a gram of cocaine and the delivery of over a half a gram of cocaine. The fourth individual we want to feature tonight is Selina Carol. In early January 2006, detectives from the Kingsport Vice Unit began an investigation of fraudulent prescriptions that were passed at Cave's Pharmacy on South John B. Dennis Highway. The investigation revealed that Selina Carol had obtained narcotics using a fraudulent prescription. An arrest warrant was subsequently issued for her arrest. Her whereabouts are unknown, but it is believed that she is probably still in the local area. Ms. Carol is a 36-year-old white female with brown hair, brown eyes. She's 5'6" and weighs approximately 125 pounds.
Just behind me is East Stone Drive and Eastman Road, without a doubt the busiest intersection in Kingsport at lunchtime. And this is the site of our dumb crook story. Recently, within the last 2 years, a financial institution in this area was robbed by 2 suspects. They cut through some woods here, and this is where they came out. They became disoriented and forgot which way they were going, which led them actually away from where their vehicle was. Next, they stopped into a fast food restaurant to divide up the money. They divided it up on the size of the bundles instead of the amounts of the currency, which one suspect ended up with 3 times as much as the other. Then they tried to cross this intersection at lunchtime, where they were quickly apprehended. But the funniest part was when one suspect was being searched and all this money was being taken off his person. He looked back at the officer and he said, "Hey, one of those 20s is mine."
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you watching. Again, if you have any information about the 4 individuals that were featured in this episode, or any information concerning the unsolved homicide that we featured in this episode, do the right thing, have the courage, pick the phone up and give us a call at the number provided on the screen. We'll see you next time.